Deep in a cozy forest lived a soft rabbit named Cuddles and a busy squirrel named Sammy. They were the best of friends, but as different as they could be. Cuddles liked nothing more than lounging around in the sun, taking leisurely strolls through the forest, and of course, cuddling. In the fall, when the days grew shorter and the leaves turned brilliant shades of red and orange, Sammy would frantically gather nuts for the winter. But Cuddles spent his days dozing off under the warm sunbeams. One day, Sammy noticed that Cuddles had barely prepared anything for the winter. "Cuddles, my friend," he said, "you really should start gathering some food. Winter is coming, and you have barely anything stored away." Cuddles yawned and stretched out his paws. "Oh, don't worry, Sammy. I have plenty of time to gather food. It's not as important as getting a good night's sleep or a nice, relaxing bath." Sammy shook his head and chuckled at his friend's antics. "You sure do love to take things easy, Cuddles. But we only have a few weeks left before winter. You need to hurry." With that, Sammy went back to work, gathering as many nuts as he could. Cuddles watched him go and then took a deep breath. He knew Sammy was right, but he just couldn't bring himself to stop and cuddle for a moment. He hopped over to a nearby tree and began to gather some branches. Sammy returned with another bundle of twigs. When he saw what Cuddles was doing, he asked, "What are you doing, Cuddles?" "It's too late to start building a house now." Cuddles smiled. "I'm not building a house, Sammy. I'm building a pile of branches to make a nice, cozy bed for all my cuddling." Sammy couldn't help but laugh at his friend's antics. "You sure know how to make the most of your time, Cuddles." The two friends continued to work, each doing what they could. And as the days went by, Cuddles' branch pile grew larger and larger. Soon, it was so big that there wasn't enough room in his cave. So he gathered his bravest friends, a porcupine named Prickles, a raccoon family, and even a grumpy badger. Together, they piled the branches outside the entrance of Cuddles' cave, creating a giant fort made just for cuddling. When winter finally arrived, the forest was covered in a blanket of snow. But inside Cuddles' cozy fort, he and all his friends stayed nice and warm. They snuggled up together and dozed off, dreaming of the day when the sun would shine again. As the weeks passed, the food that Sammy had gathered began to run low. But luckily, Cuddles had brought along some extra carrots and lettuce for his friends. And so, thanks to their teamwork, everyone had enough to eat. In the end, Cuddles and Sammy realized that even though they were different, they had both done their part to help their friends. And that's what made them such an excellent team.